What's up? This is CDUB with loopsbycdub.com, and today I'm very excited to introduce to you something that y'all have been asking me for a long time, ever since the PC version and the Mac version came out of Hoop Triggers. Here it is, y'all. Finally, the iOS version for Hoop Triggers. Yes, iPhone, iPad, iPod. You can have Hoop Triggers on the go on your mobile device for all iOS users. And I'm about to give you a tutorial on how it works and what all you can do. Y'all, this is gonna bless you. I'm gonna take you through the Hoop Triggers app. It is available now on the App Store, the iOS App Store. So let's get straight to it. When you open up the app, the first thing you're gonna need to do is download the two collections that are here. All right, and I've already downloaded one of them, but basically you're just gonna hit the download button. It's gonna download in the middle of the screen right there. And once it's done, you download it one time. That's the only time you have to do it. You're done, and you can play. All right. So there are two collections for this Hoop Triggers. And if you notice at the top here, you can slide over and you can tap for tutorials right here. There may be other messages that pop up for you here to help you understand what's going on and any updates that have been added as well. But on the bottom two right here, this is what you're going to be dealing with, and there's two different versions of the Hoop Triggers on this app. Y'all, this app does a lot of things. I'm going to go through it all for you right now so you'll understand how to use everything and what to do. So the thing is, you have two ways to use the Hoop Triggers. All right, you can either use the full band version or you can use the two-piece, just the organ and drums. So I'm going to go through the full band first. I know that's what a lot of you are familiar with. If you've ever heard of Hoop Triggers and seen any tutorials or anybody using them on the Contact software, you noticed it was a 7-piece band, and this tells you what all you get: drums, bass, Rhodes, piano, organ, guitar, and synth. So you press play. Once you press play, it's going to flip over, and you have this beautiful layout of what I call the easy play mode. All right, and basically all you need is one finger and to be able to press the tap button. I mean, it's that simple, y'all. Now, what happens when you press the tap button? It triggers samples of a 7-piece band playing preaching chords. All right. What I did was I recorded all of these samples and I put them in a sequence for you. As long as you just keep pressing tap, it's going to go through a sequence of chords and it's going to make sense, is what I'm saying. So, because we mapped it out so it makes sense. All right. So when you press tap, this is what you get. All right. That's all those instruments playing at the same time. Press it again. All right. See what I'm saying? Keep on pressing. All right. So while somebody's preaching, that's all you're doing is just pressing tap. Okay. Now let's go through some of the controls up here so you understand what all of this stuff is for. Of course, the tap button is what triggers the samples. All right. When you press this is basically a repeat button. So it's going to repeat whatever the last sample was. Okay. If you just keep pressing that, it's just going to keep doing that. All right. These controls up here are going to change the key. All right. So when somebody's preaching, if they change keys, you can go up or down. It's going to show you the key that you're going to. And you know, that's basically how that works. You know, you can change the keys, and it's just instant. Like, you know, sometimes when you change the keys, it may take about 2 seconds to load up the new samples, but it's very quick, and you're ready to go. We're in B now. All right. Now, so that's what this is for. I know that was one of the main things is, you know, can you change keys? Now, maybe you don't want to change by just pressing up or down. Maybe you want to go straight to a key. If you tap right here in the middle, all the keys will show up, and you can just go to whatever key you want to. If you know your pastor preaches in E flat, you just click on the E flat or tap on the E flat. And now we're in E flat. Okay. Now, how cool is that, y'all? All right. So you have these controls to change the keys. This is the tap button to trigger the samples. This is going to repeat. Of course, you have your volume right here at the bottom. Now, your normal and your special. Okay, so your normal is going to give you more of the stabs, what you hear right here, what you've been listening to all this time. Okay, when you hit your special, that's when it's going to switch over and you're going to get like some holds. on your chords, all right? Now all you have to do is press it once, and they're gonna keep playing for a few seconds, all right? You can press it again. All right, and it's just gonna go through a sequence of chords. Yeah. All right, so when you're in the special mode, you'll notice that this special button actually changes to fade. So anytime you press tap and you press fade, it's gonna fade it out. All right. Now, another thing you may have noticed, I don't know if you caught it, but when I switched from normal to special, this right here changed from a T to a S. All right, so you see when I'm in normal mode, here it is, it's a T. When I switch to special, it changes into a S. So what is that for? All right, let me show you. Now in normal mode, right, it's a T. So what this T is for is talk music, okay? Organ talk music. So when you press it, it's gonna automatically start playing talk music in whatever key that you are in at that point. So if somebody's preaching, they finish, and you know, hit your last samples right here, and you just wanna have some music to kind of tone it down and get into another mode in the service, then you just press tap, and there you have talk music, okay? This talk music will play forever until you press it again, and then it will fade out. And it's just, you know, you don't want to just leave the preacher hanging after, you know, this big moment of preaching, and then what? So we have talk music there, and if you press the T again, it'll just simply fade out, and you're done. All right. Now, for the special, what the S is for, I like to call it a shout starter, because it kind of gets people in that mode to get ready to shout. If something's gonna happen, you know, and you played your sample, you know, you've done all that, and now somebody wants to shout, hit the S. That's all it's gonna give you right there. You can press that over and over again. Say if you want to change keys, it don't matter. Yeah, go back down. Now you see this pads button right here. This is a different view. This is pads view. Maybe you don't want to just tap a button and play whatever the preset sequence is, and you want to do your own thing and create your own sequences. Of course, you know I had to make it so you could do that. So we switch over, and once again we have normal and special. You can trigger your own samples by just pressing the buttons. Okay. You know, whatever you want to do. All right, even with the sustain. Keep it going. No. All right, now if you tap these buttons again, it'll fade. Okay, so it'll fade you out. So that's what the pass view is going to give you. It's going to give you the ability to be able to play your own samples in whatever sequence you want to. Of course, you can still change keys and all that good stuff in this view. All right, so now let's jump back over to when we're in special and we hit, you know. Now let's say I know people always ask me this, and especially when I had the first version of the Hoop Triggerz out for the computer, they always say, "What if somebody shouts? What happens then? You know, what are we gonna do?" I got you covered. See this swipe right here? If you swipe to the right from the top of the screen, you got some shout options right here, and basically it's 4 levels of shout music, and you can switch them on the fly and however you want to, depending on what's happening. So if you don't want anything but a loop to just start, you got a shout loop there, and the people are shouting, or they're getting ready to shout. Maybe somebody's up on the podium talking, And then we can add shout 1 into the mix. Now this will keep playing forever, y'all. Never gonna stop until you stop it. So shout 1 will just keep looping. Just like that. All right, we're gonna move on to shout 2. And they play instantly as soon as you touch them. So it's getting a little bit more intense. People are praising God. You got something new to offer them instead of just the same thing over and over again. So as you can see, you have 4 options. So let's move on to shout 3. All right. So imagine this. I mean, it's just not a shout loop. It's not just a shout stem. This is something where you can actually control the flow versus, a lot of times we've always, we're using worship technology and machines and it's just like whatever it is, that's what you get, or you're using a track. But with this, you have 4 different levels of shout music that you can do. And it all depends on really 5. If you take away the music, then you just had a loop. So you can build and take down and build up however you want to. Oh, of course, I had to put in there that you can change the keys too. So don't think you're just stuck in one key. And of course, you can change the tempo. I mean, if y'all want to shout slower, you can do that too. All right, so if you double tap on either one of these, it's going to bring it back to 0 as far as the tempo and pitch is concerned. Now, of course, it may not be a shout moment that day, or it may not, it may not be called for people to shout that day. It may be, it may end up being more of a worship type moment after the message or during the service. This stuff can be used throughout the service. It doesn't just have to be during the preaching moment. So I put a worship moment on here as well. All right. So it's the same concept. You have 4 different levels of a worship moment. And if you count just the loop by itself, it's really 5. You can change the pitch. You can change the tempo as well. So we're going to demonstrate that with Jasmine Crumley. We're going to show you how you can actually use this during the service.
We give you the fruit of our lips, the affirmation of your name. Somebody honor our God. Holy is our God. Righteous is our God. He's perfect in all of his ways. You're perfect in all of your ways. Somebody build an altar for him right where you are. Holy your praises arise from my mouth. Let it be a sweet, 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 sweet sound in your ears. So we lift up our worship. We honor your name, Lord. Be glorified, oh God. Be magnified, oh God. We make a way for you, Jesus. You're welcome in this place.
All right, so now that we've covered the basics of how this app works, let's check out the other collection, which is called the two-piece organ and drums. We've already downloaded it. Let's press play, and we're going to see what is this. Why is it two-piece organ and drums? Well, of course, some people just want organ and drums. So I wanted to make it available. This was done with samples with just organ and drums. So a lot of times when the preacher's getting ready to tune up, they may not want a full force 7-piece band just attacking right from the start. So with this, we have some options of just an organist starting off and then the drummer coming in. So it sounds like this. The preacher may be, the Lord said, Jesus said. Now, I'm not a preacher, but y'all get the point. We can repeat that. Hold on. Just a little while longer. Okay? So these are things that you can do, maybe the preacher's not full-fledged, tuned up, going in, so you don't want just everything in at one time. And these things will keep playing, something different. All right, we got all kind of stuff. Put those hands together and tell them thank you. Now if there's more and you want, maybe the preacher is getting more intense and you need that little rumble, and then come in with the full-fledged, all that stuff. We got everything. Okay. Now, of course, you don't have to use the sequence if you don't want to. You can switch over to pads mode and do whatever you want. Yeah. So that's the other way you can do this. Now, of course, I didn't leave off the shout music and the worship music for this one too. You swipe to the right, you get the same exact thing. Swipe to the left, you get the worship moments on this side. So it makes it basically you can do everything with just your app, just your mobile device. Right here, you can play behind the preacher, you can change the sequence, or if you just want to just press one button, you can do that, and it sounds great. You can change the keys. Any other music, you can change the tempo and the key. This has everything that you need to be able to play behind the preacher during the preacher moment, and even after, and even before. I mean, once again, you have the organ talk music, you have the shout music, you have the shout starter right here. You have the ability to do so much with this one app, and it's on the App Store right now. iOS, iPads, iPhones, iPods. Go check it out. Hoop Triggerz. That's WHOOP Triggerz with a Z. All right. Check it out. This is CDUB with loopsbycdub.com. Don't forget to check out the Loops by CDUB app as well. All the loops that you need for your musicians during the songs that you do in church every Sunday. A lot of stuff going on, y'all. Check it all out. Thanks so much. Peace.
If it's not the CDUB brand, well, it's not the CDUB brand.